It's March. What should I do? Just want to thank you guys for those who are coming in. No one's in yet. But let us talk about what we should be doing right now. And to really get into what is called the law of rhythm. Hi, Blissful. Hi, guys. Hi, everyone. Hi, Sexy Everyday. Rainbow. Mama Strong. All of you that are here, thank you for being here. We'll talk about what we should be doing right now. We got into it a bit last night. But also we entertain all of your questions and anything that you have going on. Also, I'd like for you to know that we still have some coaching and mentoring, spiritual mentoring spots available. Hi, Rainbow Goddess. Thank all of you for being here. So, we want to talk about the law of rhythm. There are 7 universal laws. And by the way, a lot of people talk about laws. Most of the things that people say are not laws at all. They're not laws. There are clauses that are within laws. A really famous one is the... it just escapes my mind. Because every one of you know about it. And have heard it. But for some reason, it escapes my mind. Law of... It's so popular, I'm going to put it in here and it should come up. The law of conservation of energy. Unbelievable. This one you guys have all heard of. I can't believe it. Just didn't escape my mind. The law of attraction. You guys are all familiar with that, right? It's not a law. The law of attraction is not a law. That was a big thing. Remember when that came out? The book, the movie, all that. Manifestation. The law of attraction does not exist. It is a clause. It is a part of one of the 7 universal laws. It is a clause within the law of cause and effect. Cause and effect. That is the law that governs manifestation. And part of it is attraction and how to attract things to you. And within that law, it exercises the law of rhythm. Because without the law of rhythm, the law of cause and effect is, it has both of its hands tied behind its back. Because there are times that certain things should be done at best, and there are times when certain things are to be left alone. And it is the law of rhythm that dictates that. So I'm talking about this because I'm building a foundation to talk about what you should do this month. Yeah? This month. And I welcome any questions in that regard, or even in any spiritual questions that you might have. Spiritual or life questions, because everything's spiritual. I hear some people say, well, I'm not so spiritual right now. I haven't been spiritual this month. There's no such thing. There's no such thing at all. Because do you actually choose to breathe? Or is it just something that happens as you just live life? It's an involuntary action, right? It's an involuntary action. And no one chooses to leave this planet by choosing not to breathe. I've never seen or heard of when someone unalives themselves and they got that last note to tell people and explain. No one's ever said, I decided to stop breathing because I want out of here. No one does that. Right? So you cannot be non-spiritual because you are a spiritual being having physical experience. Can you breathe and are you breathing? Then you're spiritual. Because spirituality comes from the word spiritus, the Latin word spiritus, which means the breath of life. So spirituality, its mother word is the breath of life. Are you breathing? Not possible to be not spiritual. Now you might have, spend a lot of attention on one aspect of yourself. Mainly when we say we're not spiritual, we spend too much time on the physical, or we feel that we spend too much time on the physical and not our spiritual. But that's just a focus. That's just a focus. We're all spiritual kids. So, to get back into what we should be doing this month, let's get right into the subject before I get into I think I should do the subject matter first before I get into the build-up. Springtime. As I said last night, we tend to celebrate New Year on January the 1st because of the inversions going on this planet. What should be up is put down. What should be east is put west. What's wrong is right. And all these kinds of stuff. To get you to run as hard as you can in a direction that seemingly will take you to where you need to go, but you end up not getting anywhere. Or end up getting somewhere that you didn't want to end up because of the inversions that are here. They're going away because we're seeing through those inversions now. We're waking up to ourselves. We're seeing through those inversions now. So one of those inversions is celebrating the new year on January the 1st. You're in the dead of winter. It's such a joke. It is the most winterous month of all. January. Right? January. That's winter time. That's a time of sleep. A time of dormancy. And I said the other day, you know why New Year's resolutions don't work? You think it's you, but it's not. They're being placed in the wrong time, in the wrong rhythm. Rhythm is telling you to take a nap, go to sleep, nothing happens. Everything is frozen. Nature is on a different stream. She's pumping out snow and cold and all of that. Nothing growing. And what is a resolution? It is a form of a mental seed that you plant. But you planted that seed in snow and ice. And with very little sun. That's why New Year's resolutions don't work. Try those resolutions in the month of March, the true New Year, and see what happens. This is the time to be doing that, to be planting your mental seeds, physical seeds. All you have to do is look around nature, and it'll tell you what the law of rhythm is supporting. Right? And we can, now some of you hey Valerie, some of you are not into the moon. You think the moon is placed there. Some think it's placed there. Some think it's a satellite. Some think it's fake. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And I say to you, then don't use the moon per se for any kind of thing. Other than your indicator as to what the law of rhythm is supporting, if you're an anti-moon person. See, the moon is very, very powerful because it tells you what the law of rhythm is doing. It tells you what the law of rhythm is. And if you can operate under the law of rhythm on a conscious way, you will be a master creator and you will ride the slipstream. Okay? And the only time you don't follow these particular things is when it's a intuition-based, spirit-based. Then you choose that. But if you are trying to manifest, you want to manifest when the moon is waning, building, right? The law of rhythm, the moon is telling you that the law of rhythm is supporting you building something. And when the moon is waxing, let me make sure I don't have this backwards, okay? Because I sometimes get the waxing and waning moon backwards. Waxing, yeah. The moon is, I'm correct. The moon is getting, it's pointing what the law of rhythm is supporting. Get your manifestations in while that moon is waxing, meaning building up. Right? It's building up to the full moon. The full moon is great for manifestation. Why? Because it is actually telling you what the law of rhythm is supporting. That's what's doing it. It's the law of rhythm. And so our big indicator of that in the sky is the moon. You can easily follow it. Right? This isn't for a monthly thing. I'm just because I'm talking about the law of rhythm, and I'm bringing it into what you should be doing now if you want to ride the slipstream and not be like a salmon. We're not salmon. And even they have a good reason. They go against the law of rhythm, the flow of the waters, for a good reason. See, they're not just doing it unconsciously, are they? They have good reason for going upstream. And they support much life in that journey upstream to where they can recreate and prolong their species. Right? And so this is how you use the law of rhythm. Or those who control think they control the planet, use this law against you. It's time you learn it because it doesn't discriminate. It supports those who use it. It's time for you to start using that law. And it's so easy. But no one talks about the law of rhythm. You talk about rhythm, they think music. Yes, which is rhythm-based. But the law of rhythm is in all things. And if you're aware of it simply, you can do a whole lot. And you can get a whole lot done. So March is the time to put out your ideas. March is the time to plant your seeds. March, if you want to start something new, that's when you do it. Right? Because you're at the beginning. You're at the new year. This is the true new year, not January the 1st. This is the true new year. This is when you start doing the new things. That's just a trick, January the 1st, to get you to put all of your energy into that, and then you become disappointed when nothing happens, and you carry on the year blissfully unaware and ignorant that is not the time to do it. Most of you know this. Most of you know this. Right? But some habits are hard to break. Some habits are hard to break. Let me see if any of you have questions. Let's see. Love the owl charm. Thank you. Thank you, Rainbow Goddess. Yeah, I had it put away for a while. I haven't. I just started wearing it just recently. It's a lapis lazuli, by the way. Let's see. Hey, Valerie. Yeah, I love this shirt. This is the first time I'm wearing it. Energy Flow gave it to me for as one of my Christmas presents. Why, when you're consciousness, why does everything seem to so slow down? Why does everything seem so slowed down? I don't know. Because for me, everything is speeding up. If in your world and in your consciousness things have slowed down, it is because you need to rest. And you're being energetically advised to chill. So you must think of it in relation as to how you're living your life and what's going on there. So slow down. Chill and observe. Because maybe you should be using that time to work some things out, to plan some things, so that when it gets back into the flow that you're used to, that you're comfortable, you're able to make changes and not repeat the same loops. Blissful. Are you going through loops that just keep happening? It's slowing down so you can recognize that you're in a loop. Loops do not Loops indicate stagnation, lack of progress. So maybe seeing things slow, you can recognize that loop so that you can work your way out of it. Okay? Can I tell you about when someone used mental powers on me? Only if it's constructive, and only if you learned something from it, and only if you've learned not to allow that to happen. But not to prolong a story to keep whatever that thing is going on that is not doing you any good. But if you feel it is useful, go ahead, beastie. I feel like I'm going insane and my head is hurting. It's been like this for the past month. You feel like you're going insane. And what's going on in your life? What is actually going on in your life? That's the first thing. And you should always talk to yourself. The most powerful thing you can do, the easiest, most powerful thing you can do and that you must do is talk to yourself on a regular basis and trust the answers that you get because the wisdom within you is second to none. I know you're asking me and it's okay because that's why I'm here. But you must revert to your own inner wisdom first because you know yourself better than I know you. You break the loop better than I know you. You break the loop by recognizing. Thank you so much for the gifts. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for the gifts. You break a loop by first recognizing that you're in one. You must know that you're in something on a conscious level before you can do anything about it. So you break a loop by recognizing that you're in the loop. And once you recognize that you're in the loop, you start questioning why the loop exists and how you have been caught in it. And once you do that and you start talking to your subconscious mind, you'll start recognizing the loop, where it came from, how it started, and then you can collapse it so that you don't stay stagnant. You start acting differently because the loop, once you recognize it, you see that to keep it alive, there are certain things that you do to keep that loop going. And then once you recognize those things, meaning you bring it from the unconscious side of your life. Unconscious means the things that you do that you don't even know you do. You're on autopilot. Once you get out of that autopilot and you bring it into conscious awareness, you can start seeing the things that you do to stay in that loop, and you start walking the other way from that loop. And you start making decisions because consciousness and awareness allows you to make decisions that actually have something to do with what is going on. Not what you think is going on, not what they said out there, not what's painted for you, not any of that. You start seeing things as they are. And then you start making decisions based on that. That's how you get out of a loop. Oh, blissful. Okay. Thank you for the comment. Glad that it's helpful. All right. 12.12.12. 12.12. 12.12. I'm glad that that's helpful. So, see, you have the answer within you, and you have been asking about how to get out of that loop for a little bit, is what I'm sensing. So the answer comes to you, and it might come from me, but it's coming from me through you, because even if you don't say anything but the desire is strong enough, your subconscious mind is not restricted to just your brain. Well, it's not an organ. Sorry. The brain is an organ. The mind is not an organ. The brain serves the mind. The brain serves the mind. The mind brings the ideas and the brain processes them. The brain is a processor. The brain is a computer. And the brain processes them. Every computer is an imitation of the brain. And so it goes out and gets the answers and brings them to you. And it comes and it looks like it's coming from the outside. But it is you, that aspects of you that goes out and finds the person, the place, the thing, whatever it is. And then it comes back to you as the answer. But it's always you that is finding the answers. You see? So if it's always you that's finding the answers, why not just go to you at first to begin with? And then when you get the answers to your questions, everyone here, when you get the answers to your questions, give gratitude. Give gratitude if it's a person, give gratitude to the person just happened. But you must give gratitude to your subconscious mind, yourself, the creator within you, your ancestors, because they're all working through the subconscious mind. Give thanks. And then that rewards the mind. And the mind, if it is rewarded with positive emotions, is encouraged to keep serving you. It's a little hint and a little trick. Athletes do. Why do some athletes, they celebrate after they score that goal and they do their little dance? There's a psychology behind it. They're not just showboating. It used to be called showboats. They're just showboating, just showing off. No. He's rewarding his mind for all that practice. And then he gains something that, or he or she gains something that they work for. And they celebrate. Emotion is the driver of your reality. Emotion is the driver of your subconscious mind, which is the creator of your reality. So very important to give gratitude, thanks, and even celebrate when you get something that you want. Celebrate. Let your subconscious mind know, hey, your inner child know, hey, I like that. I love that. Let's celebrate. Let's have some orange juice with 2 ice cubes in it together. And you enjoy that orange juice, and you enjoy that thing because it'll bring an emotion of pleasure that not only soothes your taste buds, but it goes to the mind because the mind's the one in charge of all of that. Celebrating your victories is important. Analyzing and assessing your failures is also important because then you give the mind a job. Say, hey, this didn't work out, Walter. For me, I don't feel too good about it. You be honest with the mind. What can you do to help me? Then you don't dwell in that. You had the conversation with the thing that can make it right. And then later on you find out that failure was absolutely necessary and it isn't a failure. You know who failed the most? The most successful people fail more than anybody, by plenty. Matter of fact, they fail more than they succeed. For those of you who are familiar with Abraham Lincoln, and for those of you overseas not familiar with American history, there's one of this country's greatest presidents of all time. He's often considered the greatest of all time. It was a man by the name of Abraham Lincoln. He lost most of the elections that he ran in. I think he lost by far. Not by far. But he won when he was supposed to win, and he became the greatest president ever. So most successful people, if you look at their resume of wins and losses, failures and successes, they probably have more failures than successes. But you see, those failures aren't a negative thing. They actually provide the foundation for success. So they're not really failures at all, are they? They're just experiences needed to make you who you are. Because your failures don't define you. They simply make you stronger and make you who you are. And your decisions, based on how you feel about that, is the thing that's important. So if you see failures as a roadmap to success, then you won't be disappointed when you fail. You just go, what do I need to do differently next time? And you employ failure as your ally. Your strengths are in your failures. Your strengths, I learned this from my from my hermetics teacher. And then she went on to prove how your strengths, your weaknesses are your strengths. Your failures are actually your successes. Dressed up a little bit differently than what you would like. But they are your successes. Right? And they don't always come with good feelings. So that's why we don't like them. Right? But this is true spiritually, mentally, and physically. I failed at a lot of shit in my life. But eventually, all of them, I look back and I realize, oh, that wasn't really that was important. That really wasn't failure. That was an experience. It just tasted like failure. But no, without that, I wouldn't be where I am right now. Yeah. So my failures. I always tell people I've been fired twice in my life when I used to work for people. Fired twice. Both times were the best experiences in the working world I'd ever had. Because after that, it propelled me to the next level. Both times that I've been fired. The best career moves that happened to me. Many would say that is failure. I don't want to be fired. You might be moved to that because what's coming up after that is exactly what you want. Exactly what you want, what you need. So I'll go through some questions and we'll go through what the other parts of the seasons are. Because when you talk about seasons, you're talking about the law of rhythm. When you talk about timing, the time to do this and the time to do that, you're talking about rhythm. Even your birth is based on the law of rhythm. Everything is based on the law of rhythm. Everything. From your time you're conceived and you're going through the process of becoming a physical human being, rhythm. Without rhythm, none of it can happen. I don't call it failures when it doesn't work out for me. I call it mistakes and lessons learned. Yeah, that's the great way. That's a great way to see it. Fantastic. Even if it doesn't feel good, it's all right. Even that feeling doesn't feel so good is a propellant for success. Thank you for the confetti, 1212. Oh, how did you adjust to the new wave? I'm not sure. Hey, Alex, great to see you again. Thank you for the rose. You coming back harder with a better strategy? Exactly. That's a question. I think I missed a part of it here. How did you adjust to the new wave after firing? Oh, after I got fired, the first time, it pushed me into creating my first business. Because I realized that I can't control what other people do. So I ended up getting a sales position, an independent sales position, and I negotiated with them that there were some services that they didn't offer that I could offer, and that me offering those services would open up the area to getting more clients because I could fill a gap that they couldn't. So I could bring more clients in, have my own business, and by virtue of having my own business, I could serve them more and then use that to bring them into the fold for the company. And that opportunity would have never happened if I was still working for the other folks. And then the second time was the second time I got fired. Um, I had closed my business down because I had burnt out. I was doing too much. And then I went back into the workforce, doing sales. I did pretty well, but then they changed the rules. And then I was in a sales position where it was 80% attrition, meaning 80% of the people that take that job are gone within a year. But even that job was more easier than what I just left. And I stayed at that position for 3 years until finally they changed the rules and I couldn't keep up with my performance didn't keep up. So they released me then. And then I went back into business. Again, that was a good thing because I went back into business, but did it differently so that I could enjoy it, handle it without burning myself out. And that taught me a lot. Are we moving to New Earth? Of course we are. But you have to choose to move with it because no one can make you. And if you stick around 1212, there's at every live there's this guided contemplation I do that connects us to the planet and moves us towards New Earth. We're not moving. New Earth isn't something that's happening to us. We are creating New Earth on the inner planes of existence, the inner planes of the spiritual planes, even though some of us might not be that aware of what we're doing from here. We're the ones making New Earth. That's why it's coming. Nothing is going to be happening to you. You are going to be the one making it happen. There's no aliens, nothing, none of that. They are our brothers and sisters, and they're here. And they're in our skies, letting us know that they're here. They're already here, but they will not interfere. I noticed, I was talking to Energy Flow and I said, I noticed a lot of people are like totally welcoming, wearing alien clothes, and Energy Flow also has like an alien shirt. It's pretty cool. Maybe she'll come on. I think she's wearing it today. So a lot of people are not this. You know, remember in the old days, people used to be really like aliens. You know, they're kind of scary. No, we realize, and you know, the only people that fear aliens are government, which are the ones that are putting the finger down on us and trying to turn us into permanent slaves. They're the ones that are afraid of it because these so-called aliens are our brothers and sisters in the universe. And they're cheering us on. For those of you interested, you don't need any kind of permission or any kind of approval. You can come into contact in a true way with your brothers and sisters in the universe. There's even a program called CE5, Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind. And you can look it up, CE5, where there are groups of people all over the country that go out and we communicate, because we've done it. Energy and Flow and I have done it even on our own. And there's nothing to fear. And you will not believe, once you mentally connect with your brothers and sisters that are in this universe, watching our ascension, watching us build this new earth and cheering us on, they will not interfere. Once you make the connection and you start seeing the physical vehicles, and you'll know they're not planes. You could see them in the sky. And you could make mental requests. We did that. And it happened. And you'll be shocked. And it will encourage you. It will lift you to the next level of your spiritual expansion and ascension to see that. It's amazing. CE5, look it up and look up groups in your area. And so that you can go and you can experience this for yourself. Right? And there's nothing governments can do about it, because if we choose it, the universe has allowed, the Divine Mother and Father have allowed our brothers and sisters, and for us to contact and come into contact with them should we choose. No middlemen necessary. Stephen Greer, if you want to really watch, here's a couple of movies. Please, go watch these. Oh my God, there I go again with the memory. Babe, do you remember that movie? Unacknowledged. Could you please put it up there for the peeps? Unacknowledged. This movie has been talked about everywhere. Joe Rogan, people talking about it, things that have happened here that our government has hidden but can no longer hide. And you'll watch the movie and go, how have they allowed this to be put on? They can't do anything about it. We are allowed to know, and there's nothing they can do about it. You give these rat bags all that credit and all that power. They don't have it. You're giving it to them. They don't have it. If you want it, there's nothing they can do about it if enough of us want it. It has to happen. And that's indeed why the spiritual awakening process, the new earth process is happening. Because we want it. Enough of us want it. Period. No permission needed. This is our planet. It's just through our amnesia and forgetfulness we ceded authority to some very unsavory beings who are jealous of you, jealous of us, and our ability to create like the Divine Mother is given. I said this on last night's live. We take it for granted that we are able to create from nothing, but that is not a given for many beings in this universe. We must transcend, ascend, whatever you want to call it. Evolve. I like to use the word evolution because there's no trickery behind it. You know, ascension really, you're not going up anywhere. If anything, you're going down, you're going in. Because the ascension transcendence evolution game is an inside game. It's here. It's all here. And so Unacknowledged is a great movie to go see. It's like a documentary, but it's interesting. She's not here anymore, but she was here a little earlier. And you start watching it, and you watch the whole thing. You don't watch it and, I'll watch the rest tomorrow. No, you're glued. And all of it, it's a documentary of all these great people who stuck their necks out under threat to bring all of this information and all of this knowledge that we have free will to connect to whomever we want. So CE5 is a program, and it was created by Stephen Greer. There are others by other organizations as well, but that's the most popular one. Thank you, JC. Like up the live so those who can benefit from it can have access to it, because that's how the algorithm works. Everything is an algorithm. So I appreciate that. Appreciate that from you guys. So do a CE5 event. They're all over the country. And if you're anywhere near where there's any kind, because people just create it. You can create it your own CE5. There's a little guideline on how to do it. You can create your own CE5 group event in your community. Right? But you can probably, if you look it up, find out very easily where one is near you and do that. It will change your perspective and shift you. It will do that. And see the movie Unacknowledged. It's on, it's in, I think, YouTube. It's on Amazon. It's on, I don't know if Netflix has it. You know, a couple of dollars. I think $1.99 or something, a couple of dollars. You will know that the decision to awaken and to pursue your spiritual ambitions are not in vain. You will see that. That experience will encourage you and grip you in such a way that you will continue to see the reality very differently and bring you closer to who you are. Because that is one of the things this a CE5 experience will bring you into knowing who you are. And if you are working on knowing who you are, you're doing the most important thing you can ever do here. Even if that's the only thing you do, it will be the only thing you ever need to do. Knowing who you are and defying that taboo against knowing who you are is why you're here. And that experience will bring a newness, a knowledge, and a bit more, being a bit more closer who you are. And it's a fun experience. CE5. Fun experience. Watch the movie Unacknowledged. You'll be amazed and entertained. Okay, let's go down here. I think I've missed some questions. We want to make sure we do that. I want to thank all the moderators that are here. Thank you, JC. Thank you, Energy Flow, for assisting us and helping us. We're all a team here, and everyone here, you are like family. I know people use that all the time. Da 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 da. But the truth is, you're all here for a reason. This little community that we have was already created before it was brought into life in 2021. That's how long I've been here on TikTok. TikTok is just a vehicle. Oh, thank you. You like Dark One? You like the necklace? Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah, the owl is a symbol of wisdom, and it has been co-opted by many people who don't demonstrate any wisdom. I'm talking in particular the so-called secret groups. And the owl has the eyes that can see in all directions. The owl has the eye that can see in all directions. But the owl can see in all directions in darkness. That's what makes the owls so special. And a symbol of wisdom. Very, very special creature. Very, very special being. Could you tell me about yourself first time I watch you? All right. I do. I've never had that question, believe it or not. Ask. I was born, I've mentioned, gone through a quick synopsis of, who I am, where I was born and, my childhood and all of that. I was born in Costa Rica, in the rainforest of Costa Rica too. And I was brought up there. I was born in a suburb outside of the capital called Alajuela. And then my parents moved to the United States, and my sister and I were raised by my grandmother and my grandfather in the rainforest of Costa Rica, where we learned about plant medicines, working with plant, spirituality, because those people are very spiritual, especially the ones from the Caribbean. Very, very spiritual. Also religious. So you'd have a mix of spirituality and religion, which is how I grew up. And a very close relationship with nature. I would say the biggest gift that my grandparents, particularly my grandmother, gave me was the gift of kindness and love and care for everything and everyone. It was nothing for my grandmother to do something for someone else without any expectations. And I learned that from her along with a whole lot of other things. At the age of 11, I, after going through that training, by the way, my first language is Spanish. I moved to New York City. My parents brought us from Costa Rica to New York City. Don't know about a fish out of water. where my father was a Pentecostal minister and I grew up in the church. And I needed that experience. It was rough. Moving from Costa Rica to be with my parents, it was rough because they weren't very nice. They weren't very kind. Deeply religious. But I managed to survive my childhood and left at 18 and joined the military because it was the only thing I knew. And I needed to do that. And I spent many years in the military, in the Navy, on ships. And I was always interested in studying. I had abandoned spirituality during that time. But I was always, you can't abandon spirituality really, because I said earlier how we're all spiritual beings, right? And my life was miserable during those times. And I really didn't enjoy living. I got married. I had two children, two girls, two lovely girls. One's now 30 and the other is 27. And raised them and suddenly got divorced. I had worked hard, had a good career in the dental industry. And then one day, it all fell apart. Because this reality is about pain and suffering. Right? This reality, not Earth, not Mother Earth, the reality we're in, the inverted one I talked about earlier, is about pain and suffering. I had a home in a very prestigious neighborhood, all of that. Lost it all. 3-year court battle, lost it all. I was living in a room. I couldn't even rent my own apartment. I was renting a room. Renting a room from someone else. After having my own apartment 5 minutes from home, living 5 minutes away from the beach. All the things that people say that if you do and you get, you'll be happy. But I was not happy with any of it. And I realized when in the middle of my divorce in this one bedroom dealing with that, I realized how much happier I was than when I was in the other situation. Now, we're not blaming anybody. Not the ex, not the family, not the jobs. There's no blame. There's this circumstance and life and its experiences. And I realized that I was happier in that one little bedroom, having lost everything that I ever was, having gained everything. See, because they tell you a lie. They tell you, go to first grade so you can get good grades and you want to go in second grade, just like your brother Tim. And then go to third grade, because in third grade, and you go, and then everything gives you a promise, and every single thing puts you in the future and away from the now. Go to college, get that education. Then you can get that nice career and job so you can support a family, get a house, get everything, and then you'll be happy. Make sure you keep God in your life, though. None of it happened. So you work, you get that promotion, you get the promotion, well, promotions, and you're sitting in that office or wherever that is for you, whatever that ambition is for you. And you go, is that it? That's all? I'll bust my ass to work and get to this place for what? Gotta be a little bit more than this. And that is, at that point, many of us awaken. And we start to awaken. And all of that has to fall away. And it can put us in many situations like depression. Okay? So if anyone here is in that situation, let it go as quickly as you can. Because what's coming is way better. But you can keep your eyes and the gaze on that old past that you spent so much time on, so much energy, so much effort. And you might be in denial that it's not the thing, and you might hang on a little bit longer at the party than you should. And that's just the reality continues to deal you the pain and the suffering. Let it go and turn the other direction to here. Start communicating with yourself, talking, literally. Start talking to yourself, because that's where the Creator is, nowhere else outside. This is the temple. And start listening. When you speak, start listening. And you will hear, and you will be communicated to in so many ways. Don't have any silly rules as to how you're communicated with. I guarantee there's one or two of you that are being communicated to you by yourself through this mouth. How it comes is no consequence and concern of yours. Just that it comes. Because there are aspects of you that are working to give you everything that you need. And so my story continues in that I went through a process where I said to myself, I'm going to, this is around 2012, probably 2011, where I said to myself, my spiritual path will be my priority. And I went that path, and I went through what all people call the dark night of the soul, the depression, but I went through it really quickly because unbeknownst to me, I didn't even know I was spiritually awakening. It wasn't something I didn't even know the term until 2 years after. That's how it was for me. Because what you guys are hearing, like even on this app from me and other people, I had to travel miles to learn. I drive to places to hear a speech like the one I'm giving right now. Pay tickets, drive miles, hours. And I would, if the meeting or the place I was going to was on Saturday, even if it was a couple of hours for me to get there, I would get there Friday. Because I didn't want any traffic or anything to get in the way. And I want to be relaxed and ready to pay attention. So if it was Saturday, I would arrive on Friday. Even if it was a 2-hour ride to LA, which is just a couple hours away from me, I would arrive there the day before. To hear stuff just like this. This is how the consciousness is transformed in that time. I'm talking 2011. That's not that long ago. Right? And I dove deep into the spiritual side of things. And I took it seriously because I had already experienced everything that this reality had to give me, and there was nothing over there. So it's easy for me. I wasn't wishing and hoping to get something back that I had so-called lost. I was happy to get rid of it. Not right away, but once I started to realize, oh yeah, I'm glad I got rid of that. I'm glad I didn't take a hold of that. That's good. Right? And I would go to different places and I would gain knowledge. And it is through one of these trips that I met my mentor, who I worked with for many years, and gained a lot. But in that process, I want to go back to this important process because everyone has to do this. Everyone's going to do this. I got to the point where I'd been through religion. I've been through all the experiences here. And I said, I want to really know my own spirit, my own higher self, my own stuff. And I declared, I'm booting everything out. I want all y'all gone. All of y'all is any entities, any spirits, any thought forms that I was carrying that had nothing to do with who I truly was or am. And all I want is my own stuff here, my own spirit, my own team, my original team, the ones that came with me at birth that are mine. And then I heard this voice. And it said, all right, that's a good job. Fantastic. And then I answered back. I said, is that you? He says, yeah, that's me. So You're the one that been talking to me all them times. Yes, that's me. And you're the one that said you have to do it your way. Never interfered this voice. But whenever I was down, because I was a people pleaser and did things other people's way. And that's when that voice would always come and say, you should do it your way. And every time, the few times I actually listened, everything worked out. And I said, and so you're my higher self. He said, yes, I have never left. And that's true for every single one of you. Because you can't leave yourself. He said, I have never left. I've never left you. I said, oh, okay. You're the one. And then I started to move towards and being guided by this aspect of myself. Then the ancestral knowledge and work came in. And I started to work and clean up my bloodline, my ancestors, then work with the inner child. Bang. Those are the three things I did. And those are the three things everyone must do. You must know your higher self and remove everything that stands between you and your higher self, you and your ancestors, you and your inner child. That's why I mention inner child all the time. That's why energy flow works with inner. That's her specialty. She does a whole lot of other things. We do a whole lot of other stuff. But we know where the rubber hits the road. And it's with those three. That's the true so-called Holy Trinity that all others are imitating. Those three. Your spirit, your ancestors, and your inner child. They're all one. But they're three aspects of you that if you're right with them, you're good to go. You're good to go. And so when I did that, it was quite funny. It was an experience. You've got to be kidding me. I hope you guys. I just got a note that my live was flagged for hate speech. This is ridiculous. So I will be submitting a whatever it is that you submit for this. But I got rid of all of that, and then I started the work. And it's funny because once you start the work, then things start coming. The people start coming, the right ones. The knowledge starts coming. The information starts coming. Everything that's there to support you will start to come. Everything. And that's how I got onto the path and continued the path. Guided by my spirit, my higher self. Anything else? Let's go through, because that was... And even through skipping over a lot of stuff. But I always like to relate my story in a way, because it's very similar to what many go through. There are a lot of similarities in the awakening process. So I like to bring most of those as much as I can forward. So that you know that you're not alone and that you've got a lot of support. A lot of supports. Yeah. So you simply have to face why you're a people pleaser. You're not here for other people's experiences. Yeah, you're here to help other people, but you're more here for your own experiences, not other people's. Yeah, people pleasing is a learned behavior. RV, I'm sure that's what you're referring to. Yeah, it is a learned behavior. Starting off, you're only as good enough uh as the people other people's approval. Thank you for sharing. You're welcome, Dark Wine. Thank you. The right ones. It's listening here. Okay. I have a lot of work to do. Yeah, and you're not the only one. But if you have trust in yourself and talk to yourself, I just mentioned this a couple of times. Talk to yourself. That's where the wisdom is. You should do it your way. Now I want to explain what I thought was my way would be like through the ego, but then I realized that became more clear to me. My way is the way of the spirit, the way of not my ego, not my logical mind, but the way of my spirit. And so my higher self was able to speak to me in that way. How do you talk to your ancestors? Was able to speak to me in that way because I'm naturally inclined to go that way. You may not hear the same message, but I'm naturally inclined to go that way. I might have some issues, I might be hesitant, but I always go the way of the spirit, eventually. How do you talk to your ancestors? The same way you talk to yourself. We won't make anything complex here. It isn't. Your ancestors are you and within you at the same time. They are you and within you at the same time. I'll take a quote from another sage on this planet. He says, "That nose you have might not be present in anybody else in your family, but your great 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 grandmother from 1,000 years ago, that's her nose on your face." So they are you and within you at the same time. So you need just talk to them, just like you talk to yourself or anybody else. It's that simple. Spirituality is not complex, but because of this reality, sometimes it's not easy. It's simple, but often not easy. When it comes to something that has to do with you, though, the only thing standing between you and the communication of your ancestors is any belief systems that you are holding. That's the only thing. Nothing else can stand in that way. So try that. And speaking of ancestors, you want to break all the myths and everything, get rid of anything that keeps happening to you that no matter what you do keeps happening, so-called generational curses, building a relationship with a healthy relationship with your ancestors, because that's where your knowledge base is. That's where your power lies, because they know everything from the beginning of time up until now, and they're all within you. So you have access to all of that. But you have to consciously choose them and choose that, because again, they will not interfere in your life. If you're interested on how to do that with the strategies that I use, the ancestral course is just below. Take a look at that. I share so much in there for a song and a prayer. It's only $29.95. That course should be $400 or $500. It's only $29.95 right there here on TikTok. Just Tandy. I quit everything. It was drastic with no real plan. So many lessons still unlearning and learning. Fantastic, Just Tandy. That is the cutting away. You made a decision. The word decision comes from the word incision. You make a choice, and it only takes a second. You don't sit there deciding for a week. There's no such thing as this. I'm thinking I'm deciding. No. A decision that comes is something you do in one split second. So you did that and boom. And you're still unlearning and relearning. your progress.
Was you flagged?
Yes, I was flagged.
For hate speech, it says someone might report it, so you might want to reset because the next one's going to shut you off the line, the stream.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that was ridiculous. It wasn't even any strange words used. Talking to Energy Flow, by the way. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna write in about that because it didn't. There was yeah. We'll do that.
So is she talking about religion or?
No, I wasn't even talking about religion. Talking about nothing. There's nothing hateful about talking about religion. Are there good and bad ancestors? We have to move away from the term good and bad because what's good for something might be bad for something, what's bad for something. We have to we must look at it just from a neutral perspective. We all come down here to have experiences. And so when you are a spirit and a being, you don't see good and bad. You come from a higher realm of existence. And so, as I've said many times before, the higher the realm of your existence, the less possibilities for experiences. Excuse me, which is why a upper dimensional being will come down here because the range of experiences are limitless. It's like the most experiences you can have is in this kind of dimension and density. And so, like, for example, greed, you can't experience that in the fifth dimension, sixth, you can't. So when you're a spirit and you want to know what that is, you don't go, oh, it's good and bad. No, you go, I'll have that experience to see what it's like, to expand my knowledge, expand my experiences. So you come down and you have that experience, and part of the experience is wearing the consequences of it. And so you know that you're going to get yourself out of it, and your ancestors are you in the spiritual, and you are them in the physical. So you're the one chosen to release your ancestors from those things, and so it's not good or bad. And so when I say you have things happening that you can't do anything about, or you have experiences or things that are not enjoyable, and it's coming from your ancestry, how else are you going to know it's there unless it's a part of your experience right now? You won't know. You won't know. So it has to be a part of your experience for you to know. But then you must also have the chance to correct it. And that's where you come in as the living, because it is the living that must do that. Mm-hmm. So when you cleanse your bloodline, and the how to do it is in the course below, then you start that work and you cleanse your bloodline. And all of a sudden those problems start to just dissipate. And then the clarity of communication and relationship with your ancestors, you removed a bunch of filters and stuff, let's just say stuff that got in the way of you and your ancestors, stuff that got in the way between you and your higher self. But you see, we must choose that because it will not be done for us, because in a free will reality, we have to choose that. It cannot be forced on us. If saying the term cleansing karma brings understanding, yes. But I don't like the term karma because nothing can be done through karma to really do any kind of work that means anything. And karma tells you that you're paying the price for something, but you don't know what you did and you don't know how long you have to pay for it. So the law of karma isn't really a law, like the law of the so-called law of attraction isn't a law. Ironically, the law of karma and the law of causes and effect are not laws. They are inside of the one law known as the law of cause and effect. And so it simply is this, the law of cause and effect. An action, you have the action, and then you have the result of the action, the consequence of the action. You do something, and then that something creates a result. For example, you go to work, and the result of that is a check. That's the law of cause and effect. You do something to somebody, and then that thing creates a cause for which you are an effect for which you are a part. That's it. Now you see how you see how that's just, because you're able to control what goes on, and you're able to make a decision. Let me plug this thing. You're able to make a decision knowing everything that is involved. Whereas karma, someone comes up to you, oh, you getting that karma because you did something somewhere. And then you ask them, what did I do? They can't tell you. Oh, what do I have to pay? They can't tell you that either. That is not just. That is not just at all. So therefore, the universe will not tolerate injustice. So it definitely can't be a law. Yes, for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. That isn't exactly the law of cause and effect. That is more so the law of rhythm. The law of cause and effect is slightly different. Slightly different. It simply says you did something and the results of that thing is this. It's that simple. And the reaction is not always opposite when it comes to the law of effect. The law of effect, there's a causer and then there's the effect. And it could be an equal and opposite reaction, or it could just be an effect that doesn't have that component of opposite and equality and reaction. It doesn't necessarily have to be that in the law of cause and effect. But like a pendulum in the law of rhythm, the pendulum swings this way. If it stops over here, it swings back in the opposite direction, exactly in the exact opposite spot that it stopped off over there. Yeah, karma doesn't exist. It is the law of cause and effect that exists. Because think about it. Every time you say karma, you use that term, people, what did I do? You know, all of a sudden you have this guilt or this negative reaction. Universal laws don't work in that way. They don't. And you can't do inner work based on karma. It doesn't help you do anything to improve yourself. It just makes you guilty of things you don't even know you did. It serves no purpose as far as advancing you in any way, shape, or form. No one says, I'm going to go find out what my karma is so I could do a work on myself. You ever heard that? No, it even sounds weird. Karma is just, it sounds like a form of punishment. And the divine creators of this universe are not about punishment. They're about restoration. Religion and religious books, they do the punishment stuff. And even that comes from the writers and their cultural background of all those so-called religious books. Everything is a learning experience. Yeah, to advance you to the next level of who you're here to be. Agree. Ask only for your benevolent ancestors. I do agree with Ari on that, or Arai on that. Ask only for your benevolent ancestors. Then once you've cleaned up your bloodline, then all of them become benevolent. But until that time, you ask only for your benevolent ancestors. You put no vengeance or any kind of negativity on the so-called non-benevolent ones. But you do not call on you only call on your benevolent ancestors because they don't have any negative ties or negative energies associated with them. And believe me, even they, the so-called non-benevolent ancestors, they're waiting and hoping and that you take them from out of where they are. Because only you, the living, can do that. And when you do, you get all the gold nuggets of their experiences, and you get rid of all the ore and the nonsense that came along with it. And they become some of the most powerful allies. Because again, they know it all from the negative perspective, which is also important. And you know what you're going to find? You're going to find yourself in those negative ancestors because you're in there too. You are in there too. But you see, that's why it's important not to judge and condemn. Because you don't want to judge and condemn yourself. As we've been taught in some book. And nothing else is going to be judging and condemning you either. You simply are the master that comes to make things right. Right? And for those who say, I don't have anything to do with my negative ancestors, that's a mistake because their energy, there's no getting rid of them. That wasn't the plan. That wasn't the plan. The plan is you all come down and you get different experiences and you help each other out. Especially if each other is just the same meaning as you. You have to be a transmuter of energy, one who changes energy from one state to the other. Not the type of person that makes judgments and lowers the mind to what they do here in this reality. You simply transmute the negative energy within your ancestry into one that benefits you. That's what that course is all about. Not hell, not judgment, not condemnation. Okay? I want to become stronger every day to do so. Yes, you and believe it or not, you are strong enough. You have it all within you. If the thought and the concept or if it even crosses your mind, it's because you have the capability. And in doing it, you get that strength. Yes, I hear there's lots of people say there's good karma and bad karma, but it's just cause and effect. Yes, which is an actual law. And if you notice, there's very little talk about good karma. It's always about the negative karma that people bring up. Right? They never say, you're benefiting so much in your life for all the great karma that you have. They don't say that. They say, oh, you're suffering so much for all the karma you need to burn off. Is that not true? I have a lot to learn. We all do. Trust me. Right? RV, we all do. Thank you all for being here. thank you for your participation, your gifts, and all of that. Thank you so much. Like I say, if you use the word karma because it helps you to comprehend what's happening, if it assists you in that, it's okay. Just know that don't put yourself under that. Okay. All right. I think we've ran through all the questions. Really do. Thank you, Tandy. Thank you. I appreciate you as well. Tried to find your page last Friday, but you have a lot of fake pages and you popped up this Friday. Yeah, I do. And this app doesn't really help. The more you report, the more they pop up. You just know the fake ones because they're trying to get you to spend money. Like they'll DM you and say, "Do you want to have a session or something like that?" And I will never ever approach anyone. Anyone that's ever booked a session, they have come to me first. So never, never, never go. And usually the way you know, look at the amount of followers, and they usually the fake ones will never have that amount. They'll even have things like, I have on there only channel, real chat, whatever. They'll even have that on there. And they'll have the logo and everything. But they won't have the same amount of followers. And if you write them, if you mistakenly write them, you'll find that they're always very pushy. I don't push anybody. I go, okay, book a session. If you're interested, send me your email and I'll send you a schedule link. And if they don't respond, I don't respond. No pushiness. And the spelling and language will be broken. They're usually very broken. And I write properly. English and proper English. So those are little things for you to know, for you to know. Am I muted? I don't know if you're muted. Are you trying to write something, Beastie? Because sometimes TikTok blocks. I don't know what this app is doing. They've just flagged me for hate speech. Unbelievable. And sometimes they'll mute people who are just having normal conversation. Thank you so much for the crown sighting. Thank you so much. I was being harassed by a so-called psychic reader. I could see right through her. Yeah. If they're coming at you and harassing you and contacting you and doing that, stay away from those people. Stay away from them. Okay? Stay away from them, especially them, because I can tell you, I've had just recently someone who, and they gave me the page and I went to it. I was like, ooh, you should have seen that coming. Had some work done for them, energetic work. And suddenly, right off this app, by the way, suddenly they had all kinds of stuff in their house. Spirits running around, all kinds of energetic interference. Let's just call it that. And she wrote me, and I remember her from about a month before she wanted to book a session. She didn't. And I guess she went to this person. And of course, had to clear her home and everything out to get rid of those entities. Messing around with people like that on this app. That's why I say, if you get energy work done, just be careful. Know who you're working with. It's really, really important. If you don't come to us, that's fine. But go somewhere where you know you are certain that this person is not a charlatan, a phony, and a fake, or working with trickster spirits, because they're here. And I like to keep it real. They are here. Because I've had many people, not only just about, but in my many years, oh, Papa G, this is happening. Da, 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 da. And I'll go, ooh, you have something that's a foreign entity in here. Have you been somewhere? What have you been doing? And then you're not going to die, by the way. There's always something you can do about it. So there's no need to fear. If any of you have that going on, there's no need to fear. They can't kill you. But they can make your life not what you want it to be until you just, and we lovingly send them up to the divine. Even those spirits, because they're lost. And so we become answers, and we become light not only for our brothers and sisters in human form, but also spirits as well. Because they're lost and they can't find their way. They need the help of the living. And that's where you come in. Do you know about mental powers? Yeah, I know a lot about mental powers. You got them. Oh, can someone comment about mental powers? Well, I talk about it all the time. I talk about the mind, the power of the mind. And Beastie, if you stick around tonight, we're going to exercise the power of the mind. All right? So your mind is very powerful. It's the creator of your reality. All the abilities that you have, psychic, physical, they're all coming from the mind. It is first start mental. It starts with the mental. So since we're on the topic of universal laws, one of them is mentalism. The law of mentalism. And mentalism states that all is mind. That is the motto for mentalism. All is mind. So I always say, everything that you come into contact with, whether through any of your 5 senses or any of the 12, if you are in contact with them, everything that you observe, see, contact is either a mind or the product of a mind. All is mind. So everything is mental power. And there are different aspects of the mental. There's the psychological, the intellectual. That's the physical mental. Then there is the divergent mind, which is the creator mind, which is the part of mind where imagination happens, where imagination lives and creation happens. Left brain, right brain. Left brain, logical mind, intellectual mind. What was I going to do? What was I going to say? Reasoning, left brain, right brain, creator mind. Well, right brain, creator brain entertains the mind. Divergent thinking comes from the right brain. That's creation, art, music, imagination. And a lot of people just go, oh, you need to be in your logical. No, we have a problem going on right now that the mind that creates has been shut down by our educational system. Innovation, technology needs the right brain. Science, people think science is all logic. No, it needs the right brain. And too many of us are locked into that left limited brain. And the left brain is memory. not intelligence. Memory and intelligence are not the same. Intelligence comes from the right side of your brain, where you can solve problems with things that have never existed before. That is one of the powers we contain of humanity. When they measure genius, they measure, particularly, they look for how well you create and innovate. In other words, how well you bring something from the nothing into the world of something. Inventions don't come from the left brain. When you invent something, you're not coming from the logical brain, because that part of your brain works on memory, things you already know, nothing new over there. Creation and inventions, innovations, technological improvements come from the right brain. They like to say, oh, that's the artistic brain. Oh, yeah, that's the, da. No, they're finding out they're having a big problem because they dumb down our children, who are 98% genius when they're born. 98% of all children are geniuses. By the actual testing that they give, by the time they get out of college, it's only 2%. So the creator mind, the mind, to answer the question, the mind, you talk about mental powers. I said you have it. I wasn't just being a smartass. You have it. Right? And so if you've been through school and that's been taken from you, you can start doing exercises that cause you to tap into that side of your brain and exercise it. Simple exercise you can do, any brainstorming exercise. You got a problem, you brainstorm, you're using the right side of your brain. You're not saying it's right, wrong, you're just letting it flow. Automatic writing, pick a subject and just start writing. Don't think about it, just start writing. You just write, and there's a rule. You cannot wait 2 seconds before you put a letter down. 2 seconds. You cannot sit there and wait for more than 2 seconds before you start writing again. You got 2 seconds. If you take more than that, now you've transferred it over to the left brain, and you're not exercising them because you're bringing stuff up. So those 2 exercises are great. Brainstorming and just sit down, pick a subject, and start writing. You're not worried about wrong, right. You're just writing and you're letting it flow. And that will start to exercise the right brain so that it becomes a bigger canvas for your creative mind. Because what's happening when they when they shut that side of our intelligence down is they basically take a canvas that's the size of, I'm just using an analogy, the size of a football field, and they've turned it into the size of a Post-it note. Gets filled up really quickly. Innovation can't happen because there's not enough space for it. When you start doing these, there are many exercises. You can look at stuff on it. Hey, how do I exercise my right brain? You'll find so much information. You got it right there in the palm of your hand. And you start doing those exercises and see how you become more creative. You'll have a problem and you go, oh, what do I do? You'll come up with a solution a lot quicker because your creative mind is now being exercised. It's like a muscle. And then you exercise it and it gets stronger and you start becoming more creative. This world needs creators. It doesn't need rational minds. There's enough of that going on. And in terms of the law of the governing, everything governs the law. I'm mentioning stuff, but I could mention which law applies to which every time. Left brain, masculine brain, right brain, feminine brain. Conscious mind, now we're going from away from the organs now to the more energetic. The mind is still physical, not as physical as the body or the brain, but it's still physical. Conscious mind, the protector, The mind that keeps us here, protected and allows us to function here. Conscious mind, masculine mind, subconscious mind, feminine mind. All of it important. The feminine mind is the creator mind that creates your reality. So you want to change your reality, you better start building a relationship with that part of your mind. Remember I said about celebrating earlier, for those of you who are here, celebrate your accomplishments, celebrate the good times. You're celebrating for your subconscious mind. Because that part of mind only knows you and only knows how you feel about things and acts upon that. Acts upon that. Acts upon that. So you see, this kind of knowledge, this is as simple as it sounds. This is telling you more about who you are. So you must start from the very, very superficial before you can go deeper. Knowing stuff is important because even spirit can only communicate to you based on the knowledge you got in your left brain. So the left brain is not to be taken and put down. It's good to have knowledge and memory so that you can be communicated to much more easily. Read books on the body, read books on the emotions, and read books on the mind. And it'll help you. It'll help you. Okay, let's go to some questions here. Some benefits of fish oil, user 19. Great question. Okay, one of the evidences of the expansion of the human brain, the organ, is associated with, and it's a correlation, it's not really proven, but there's a correlation with the expansion and growth of our brain when we started to live near the sea. Now, there is also evidence that there are components within fish oil. And if you're vegetarian or vegan, you don't have to use you can use vegan fish oil because the fish get that from the sea, from plants. And so they harvest the plants and create the oil from that and making it plant-based. It's more expensive because they have to go through a process. So that kind of oil from the sea is more expensive, but just as beneficial as fish oil from fish, right? And you want to get the Nordic fish oil, the Nordic stuff, the stuff that's, the purest on the planet. Probably not as pure as it needs to be, but purer than anywhere else. You want to get that because there are parts that unlock places in the brain. And so a lot of the things that we go through mentally can't pay attention. And we often talk about ADD, the ability to remember and all of that. And we give it a label and a condition. Often it's just a lack of nutrition. When you look at if your food is coming from out of a grocery store, then you must be more diligent in what you put in your body to get the nutrition that you need. And supplementation is often important. If there was one thing that someone said to me that you could take as a supplement and you could only take that, nothing else, my answer to that would be fish oil. Omega-3 fish oil with high amounts of DHA, the components within it. At least 400, I forget if it's in milligrams, 400 per serving, which is a teaspoon of DHA, and usually it's 400 DHA, 500 EPA. Don't worry about the terms, you just look it up. DHA, EPA. You want that DHA to be high, at least 400. Don't get the cheap stuff. Not you wasting your money. All right? You're wasting your money. Yeah, dolphins have a very special power. That's a very, very, and I've had this interaction. And when we're in the ocean, Energy Flow and I do spiritual work, and you wouldn't believe how many times dolphins show up out of nowhere. We live in San Diego. I don't know where they'll show up. Dolphins and whales, because dolphins and whales are related. They energetically help to enhance our DNA. So if you're at the sea and you see some dolphins, have a conversation with them. Just in your mind. The physical dolphin may not get it, but the spirit of the dolphin will. That's where the power lies. No, sea moss, no, that's a different. Sea moss has a lot of minerals. Fantastic, great for the brain, great for the pineal gland. But no, the fish oil comes from a special moss that I think the cod is the fish that eats it. Don't quote me on that. And they produce the oil from that particular sea vegetable that they eat. Haritaki oxygenated the blood 300%. Haritaki is very good. Haritaki, part of the I can't remember stuff tonight. Haritaki is part of there are three. But if you take Haritaki, you want to take it in a tablet. You don't want to take, because I don't take the tab. I get the raw stuff and I take it. Haritaki is so bitter that it's hard to take it in a powder, but you certainly take it in a tablet. Make sure it's just Haritaki. If you want to get the powder, that way you know it's 100% no fillers. You can, and then you can capsulize it yourself. Go to the internet, learn how to capsulize. You get little things and you capsulize it yourself. It's time consuming, but your health is worth it. Haritaki is a phenomenal supplement. Thank all of you for being here. Thank you for following the channel. Also, I wanted to let you guys know that spiritual coaching sessions are still available. So if you're interested, DM me. We set up a quick 10-minute, free 10-minute session. We do a quick evaluation and we go from there. So if you're interested in spiritual coaching, let me know. Some benefits of, yeah. So I mentioned the brain. I also mentioned it helps the veins, make them supple. So if you have cholesterol issues or hardening of the arteries, fish oil will bring those back and soften them so that the blood flows through them easily and they're supple and supple is the right word, and flexible. Great for the heart, great for the joints, great for the arteries. An absolute masterpiece for the brain. And many so-called conditions that are blamed on these made-up conditions can be solved by simply good nutrition. When you're talking about the brain, if you have anything going on with the brain, the first thing you do is you get fish oil if you're not taking that. And you take it for a while. Don't take it for 2 days and expect miracles. It is natural. So you take it for at least 60 to 90 days. And you take double the recommended dose if you're taking it for a condition. And then you make sure that you're giving the body and the brain what it needs. The brain is often said to be a muscle. It is not. It's a fatty organ. It needs fat. Fat. Olive oils. Omega-3 fish oils. Linseed oil. Avocado oil. You need to be eating these good fats. They don't put weight on you. It's that other stuff that they fake, the fake stuff they make like canola oil or vegetable oil. Vegetable oil is not vegetable oil. It's toxic stuff. Canola oil is completely made up. There is no canola fruit. Canola stands for Canada, CAN, because that's where it was invented. Use that stuff to, if you got a squeak in your door, it's good for that. That's what I use it for. I think I had a squeak in my door. I put the canola vegetable oil. It's been a year now. That squeak hasn't come back. It's great for that stuff. Could you be talking also about telekinesis and doing supernatural stuff with the power of the mind? That is possible. That is possible with the mind. But when you're talking about something that intense, you need to practice telekinesis. It's a good thing to know. Yeah. How do I break free from generational curses? Great question, Lola. If you look below, I'm going to tell you right now, it's not a question. No, it's a question to be answered, but the solutions are not going to be given to you on a TikTok live. It's very intensive, and so below there, the ancestral series, which is right next to the subscription star with the circle, where for live people want to be live subscribers. Next to that is that series. If you want to know my strategy on doing that, get the series, and all of the questions and everything will be wrinkled out, and you just follow the steps, plain and simple. But to answer the question, that's the answer right there. And just start communicating with your benevolent ancestors. Just start talking to them and free the ones that need your help. And the need, it shows up in your life in life situations that you don't change no matter what you do. So-called generational curses. Okay, so do your ancestors mind when we drink alcohol? Alcohol is a natural substance. Some of us are allergic to it. If you're allergic to alcohol, you're prone to being addicted to it. You have one drink and you can't just have one, you have to have two. Two becomes three becomes four, yada, yada, yada. If you're allergic to alcohol, you should not drink it because your ancestors are also allergic to it. No, they do not get pissed off because your ancestors will not interfere in your life. They don't. You want to have a drink of alcohol? You have a drink of alcohol. Alcohol is harmful for some, not for some others. And just because you're spiritual doesn't mean you can't have a glass of wine with dinner. If the glass of wine takes you over, that's a problem. You should not drink. So, no, our ancestors don't mind. But it's up to you to know whether you have an issue with alcohol. So the non-benevolent answers, how do you know when they are now benevolent? When you actually do the work on them, guided goddess. When you do the work. That's when you know. You're the living and you're the only one that can do the work. They will never tell you, but I will. They cannot tell you. They cannot, because that would be them interfering with your life. That's why when people say, oh, I have to do this for my ancestors, I have to do that, and they want me to do this, that, the other, it is not their ancestors, it's something else. Your true ancestors do not make demands. But before you came down here, you asked to be reminded of things you need to do. And so people like me are here to remind you. And then there are other people that are here to remind me. We all remind each other. And then when you're, like, for example, in my course, you communicate them. Your answers aren't something foreign. They are you and within you at the same time. As I said earlier, then you ask them. You say, now, if you ask them, then they can tell you, is there anything else that we need to do here to take care of the situation? Logical, just like anything else. Just like anything else. So user Force says, don't drink undesirable. See, as an alchemist, I leave that to your discretion, because at the end of the day, you should know whether you can drink or not. Papa Guru has a wine every once in a while, because alcohol is just that. It's a natural thing. We are made, and this is, I'm going to go into alchemy a little bit here. We are made of alcohols, which represents our spirits. That's why alcohol is known as spirits. Because, oh, they represent spirits. No, all spirits are associated physically with alcohol. We are made up of that aspect. We're also made of salts. Salts represent the physical. Right? And then we're made of water. The component of existence on planet Earth, has alcohol involved. Alcohol is not evil. Alcohol becomes evil when it is in the hands of someone who wants to do evil with it. It is just an element. It is just a thing. But within the hands of those who want to do evil with it, then, okay? We do not want to vilify and have condemnation over things. It is us who decide, based on our decisions and our actions, what's evil and what is not. We're the ones. We either carry the evil or we carry the benevolent. Nothing else. Nothing else. And there are those who shouldn't drink. If you shouldn't drink, then honor that, please. And under no circumstances should anyone get drunk, because once you're drunk, you're completely out of control and open to things that you might not choose to be open to when you're sober. For some people, Christ consciousness works, but for others it doesn't. Can you explain why? Christ consciousness, I don't even like the term Christ consciousness. But since this is well known, we'll use it. If you're a human, you have a spirit and you have a soul. Your goal is to get to that level of consciousness. If you look human and it's not something accomplished, then you're not human. You're something else. Your birthright is to achieve that great end. Now, what is the opposite of Christ consciousness? The Antichrist consciousness. Christ consciousness is a way of being. It is a level of mental achievement where you become superhuman. So Christ consciousness is not a person. Christ consciousness is not being like a person. It is achieving a state of mind that is next level beyond human. But we must understand that that is something that is achievable from here. Now let's go to the opposite end because it's very important. The Antichrist is not a person, as many of you have been told and that many believe. It is also a consciousness. And if you're looking for the Antichrist to come like they wrote in the books, the so-called holy books, you'll never find him. He's never coming because he's already here in the form of people who do vile things to other people. You will be looking here to and fro looking for the Antichrist when he's sitting right in your face with the consciousness, robbing other people of opportunity, creating poverty, injustice, creating sickness, and producing products that create sickness all around, that poison the planet, that make it difficult for future generations. See, you will not see the Antichrist if you're busy looking for a person come from away, because that is the Antichrist. The consciousness that people carry that create all the little things, the few things I just mentioned, that's the Antichrist. And you know who's carrying it? We choose to carry and become the Antichrist, or we choose the next level of human evolution, which is Christ consciousness. The Antichrist is anyone that does vile things to other people. Vile. It's ironic that the devil is also that. D means French for of, and vil is vile. People who do vile things to other people. It kind of feels a bit like cleaning to have a drink sometimes. Yeah. It has different effects on you. So if you feel that way, you know, because alcohol can be that for some. It can cause you to do vile things to other people. Like get in front of a car and kill a whole family because you're drunk. You see? So if you know alcohol has that kind of negative effect on you, stay away from it. Pets and animals in general have a high energy, yes. Cats especially. That's why we feel good around our pets, because their frequency is high. Very high. It's naturally. And sometimes they can feel when our frequency is low and they come around, they rub against you. And especially a dog, and they'll come around, you'll know that dog, it feels and senses what's going on and tries to help to lift your energy. Pets, people with pets live longer. We hear it all the time of you take pets into nursing homes with people and it transforms the people. But we are the superior beings on this planet. And even though these wonderful beings that come into our life come to assist us and help us, we need to be doing that for ourselves and not rely on beings that are on the lower scale of the evolutionary ladder to do things for us that we should be well doing for ourselves. So the answer to that question, yes. Good night, Alex. If you're still here, you're probably already gone. Elron, can we communicate with nature? If so, is it more of a mental communication or just a feeling? It's both. And in the ancestral course below, I talk about that because I talk about how to do that. Even with the trees, I teach you how to do that in that course. And it's for a song and a prayer. So when you communicate in nature, it can come across as different for different people. But I can only tell you what natural communication is like for me in nature. It is both a feeling, and I'll hear a voice clear communicating with me. I can say hello, and I'll hear hello back. Communicating with plants and trees is the easiest top. It's the ability is telepathy when you're doing that. Telepathy. That's the first language. That's the original language on this planet. Telepathy. So you'll get telepathic communication. And it's easy with plants now because they are very still in their energy. That's why meditating in nature is so easy, because these plants and trees who are part of our ancestry are experts at stillness. And so they've watched us grow from children as human beings, as a race. So they know exactly what we need. And simply just go out and start communicating with them, speaking to them. And don't worry, don't be married to any kind of results. You be consistent. And all of a sudden, if it doesn't happen right away, you'll feel like you're being communicated to. It'll feel like a thought. You must not doubt. You must not bring that into the picture to cut it off and shut it down. You must not doubt what you hear telepathically. Oh, thank you, Marie, for saying that. Marie says, it's an amazing series. I'm getting through this series now and recommend the Ancestor course. So there are a couple of JC also who's here, is taking it. Who's in charge of the planet to make justice? We are. See, no one's going to do that for us. We must raise our consciousness, user 19. We are. We have to bring who's being unjust here? Think about it for a second. Who's bringing injustice here? Is it not us? Nobody's doing it for us. We have to bring the justice here. And we have to get rid of those who are perpetuating injustice. The control systems, the justice system, the government systems, and all that they control must go. We are the ones that vote for them and put them in office. We're the ones that listen to them. We're the ones that pay. The TAXES. The TAXES. We're the one that pay, literally with our money, to support them doing this. So no one's coming, because we are already here. And it's our job to do that. Grand Rising, Irene. In Japan, they take all the trash and separate it. Put it in football-sized lockers. Spray it with... Thank you, Jen. Psyllium 100% breakdown to soil, no pollution. I am glad you brought that up, Salutations, because every single, what you've just mentioned is, we think that they're problems and we don't know how to solve them. The solutions are already here for every problem we have. They're already here. Already here. We just need to stop creating them and start focusing on solutions. 100% breakdown. How do they deal with plastics? Do you know, Salutation? We could literally make an industry of digging up landfills and fixing the planet. Yes, we can. Absolutely. A major industry. That's sustainable for freaking ever. Save the soil. There's a man by the name of Sadhguru that's really campaigning on that front. By the way, user 19, have you gotten the Genius Consciousness and fish oil? Okay, so to stay with this, we're going to continue a little bit more. Then we're going to do our guided contemplation. So today the subject was, it's March. What are we going to do now? And so I've been talking about it. Learn to work with the rhythm of nature. The rhythm, the law of rhythm. It's not as hard as you think. Every month, if you want to be in the law of rhythm, you look at what the moon is doing. Learn the moon cycles. You learn the rhythm, the law of rhythm, and what to do. An example is, if the moon is waxing, that's the time to create and bring things in that month. When the moon is waning, it's the time to get rid of the old. When the moon is full, that's when you know you're at the peak of your meditative abilities, not the meditative manifesting abilities, meaning you're being supported. When the moon is waning, you get rid of stuff, and when the moon is new, you do the big push to get rid of the garbage. And you start that cycle. During the year, you go with the seasons. Nature tells you, the universe tells you where it is. You just need to know what to look at. During the year, you go with the seasons. What happens during the season? Nature tells you. Winter season, what's happening? All the trees have dropped their leaves. It's white as snow. Nothing's growing. You shouldn't be trying to plant your seeds and go through resolutions and all that. It's wintertime. Springtime, which is now. That's when you plant your seeds. That's when you make your resolutions. That's when you start doing things. That's when you introduce new things in for the year. Because that's the true new year. Not the middle of winter. Think about it. Summertime. You maintain your garden. You maintain your manifestation. You keep doing the things to make what it is that you want come into existence. You tend to the garden. Make sure no weeds. Make sure water comes in. Make sure they're watered. Make sure if there's any parasites or anything eating away at you get rid of it. How do you translate that to the energetic and the spiritual? If you have belief systems that prevent you from bringing your manifestations into being, that's like a parasite in the garden, eating up your fruits and your buds. Get rid of it. Then fall comes. You harvest. And once you harvest, you celebrate, you go on vacation, you do all that. You prep for winter. And that's the cycle of the year, cycle of the month. And if you really want to get down to it, there's even a daily cycle. If you master the daily cycle, it's easier to do the other ones, because the daily cycle, you have to be paying attention every hour. But I don't talk about that one because it's a lot to do the daily one. But you should be familiar with it. At least come familiar. You might not want to do the daily, but you might go, I'm not going to do what's best every hour, because that would be ridiculous. But maybe what's good to do during the morning time? What's best to do during afternoon time? What's best to do during evening time? You can do that. And working with the law of rhythm that way. But don't turn it into a religion, please. Don't turn it into like what I see with some people who do say astrology, where they won't make a move because it's Mercury in retrograde, and all this stuff, and they become slaves of a spiritual tool that's there to help them. Don't let the tool rule you. You rule the tool. Yeah, it's becoming illegal to grow your own food. That's because we allow it. Let's be serious. If we decide not to allow it, it won't happen. They will keep doing it as long as we sit by and let them. If all of a sudden everybody just grew their own food, regardless of whatever silly rules they came up with, what are they going to do? Nothing. Nothing. Okay, it's time to go to our guided contemplation. Let's do that. And for those of you who are new to this, it's okay. I will guide you along the way. All right? I will guide you along the way. So what we're going to do right now is I want you to set an intention for all the an intention for something that you would like in your life that is for your highest good. The only two rules in what we're doing now is this: everything for the highest good of those for a highest good of everyone, including yourself, and nothing that is harmful to yourself or anyone will be allowed. This whole thing will shut down that with that intention. Not for everyone, but with whoever has that intention. I'm sure that's not going to be an issue, but I put that out there just in case someone has an intention of harm to themselves or anyone. Okay? Those are our two rules. And so what you want to have is an intention for yourself, whether it be healing or something going on in your life that you'd have like resolution to, assistance, whatever it is. And have an intention for the planet, because your mind is powerful enough to change and to influence world events. Influence world events, right? So just have that in those two intentions, one for you and one for the collective. Now, if you don't know, if you're not sure of what to have an intention on, then leave that to the aspect of you that is the higher mind. And you don't worry about it. The higher mind selects that for you. But it's still you. You're not ceding that to anything outside of yourself. You're just ceding it to the part of you that is the creator. That's what I do most of the time anyway. And so before we start, let us clear this room energetically of anything that does not serve. Anything parasitic, vampiric, and any other kind of energy that does not belong here and that is not going to support the wonderful intentions that we're all bringing to fore today. And we're going to set, this is what I'm going to set out generally, our intentions to positively affect or interfere with anything that is inhuman, subhuman, and anti-life on planet Earth. All the wars, any genocidal situation, anything that is trampling and subduing the human spirit. We set an intention for that to be transformed and changed into an energy that will support human growth, knowledge, wisdom, and evolution. And so it is. So let's get started, right? And we're working with the power of the heart and the energetic and the belly brain, the seat of your emotions, the part of your being that seldom gets any credit, because the machine, the power, and the actual work of things like what we're doing now, healing and everything, is here. So we want to give that honor and allow it to do its thing. If you're in this clearing and you feel that any emotions come in, let it out, let it go. Don't hold it in. It's time to let it go. And you're going to be supported here. And we bring in the benevolent beings from the source realm to assist us in this. Now, let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to energetically connect to Mother Gaia, the planet, because she's the one facilitating this. And we do that by just imagining, with your imagination. Imagine roots going down your legs and going straight down to the earth. Now, if you are in a high rise or there are people below you, just imagine those roots veering away from other people's energy fields, because it won't feel good to them and might not feel good to you to be connecting through people's energy fields. So just with your intention, send those to the side of the building or away from other people, and then connect to our wonderful planet. And now you can just gently breathe. Pause breath. You breathe in and gently breathe out. And breathe in again and breathe out, just to relax the body. And now just imagine your heart connecting to the heart of the planet only. And you do that by imagining a curved line coming from your heart, sort of like an orbit, an ellipse, we call it a heart loop, connecting to the heart of the planet and coming back around and connecting to your heart. And we give thanks and gratitude to a wonderful planet for allowing us to do this. And now again, we clear the space so that it is supportive of all who are in it and the wonderful intentions thereof. And we bring healing and support to everyone. And we always include the inner child, the original you without the negative programming. Sending love and healing, compassion and gratitude. And now we bring in all of our intentions and also everything that would stand in the way of these wonderful intentions. We bring them to the light to be cleared and then transmuted into an energy that would support everything we're doing. And we do that for all the intentions, the interplanetary ones and the personal ones. And we bring in any contracts, any bonds, any vows, agreements that we have made that prevent us, whether we know of them or not. We cede this to the divine, to our higher selves. That aspect of you is the one doing the work. And that aspect of you knows everything, even things that you might not know in the mind. No matter, that is why we work with all the aspects of who we are. And any agreements and any kind of energies that we have entertained and have within us, whether we know about them or not, we ask for them to be transmuted if they stand in the way of your happiness, joy, fulfillment, growth, and evolution. And we clear them so that we can now entertain only the things that are going to be in our highest good. And that includes any system, energy, or frequency related to these things that we're clearing, including beings, belief systems. Now, some of these belief systems may show up for you to address them directly after this clearing. Be aware of that and take the actions needed. And so we bring this in, and we want this to occur in every timeline and temporal location, every dimension, realm, level, density, or reality, on every planet, universe, multiverse, omniverse, infinite verse, in any altered or mirrored dimensions and realities, through past, present, and future. And let this be done through all time, anti-time, subtime, space, anti-space, subspace, everywhere and throughout all parallel lives, existences, and indeed throughout all creation. And we surrender to the divine, the how, the when, the where, and the what part of what we're doing. For that is not our place. It is the place of the divine, which is, of course, us, because the divine is nowhere else but within us. And we do our jobs, and it's all based on the why we want this to happen, and have some emotion behind it. Because the why is the most important thing for us. The other parts, that's for the divine. We don't worry about that. And we bring in all of the energies, the benevolence, through the divine mother and source, father source, the true creators of this entire universe, represented by Mother Gaia, the feminine, the masculine. And it is just so we all know through the divine mother that all of this is possible. And so from the sovereign authority of our core inner beings, we declare any of the aspects and facets that were named, and even those that were not, fully, completely, and thoroughly null and void. We remove all permissions, whether they were given willingly and unwillingly, knowingly or unknowingly. We, from the sovereign authority of our beings, reclaim all the energy that we have given to be returned to rightful owner. We invoke the return to rightful owner clause. And all energies that are not ours, we send up to the divine. Not back to other beings, because we don't do the return to sender always. Those old ways are not a part of the new consciousness. We send it up to divine, including those who left or sent them in the first place. All of them must be returned to the divine for restoration and reformation. And from the sovereign authority of our core inner beings, we dissolve, we dispel, and disintegrate from every level and plane of our beings, of these situations, and of the planet. All related imprints, implants, overlays, cords, belief systems, self-perception, self-beliefs, paradigms, narratives, feelings, and emotions that do not serve, any sadness, sickness, or fragmentation, and any other system, energy, or frequency that is related Let this be done for the highest good of all with divine harmony and timing and the most benevolent outcomes possible. And so it is. And thank you all. If you're still going through this process, because everyone's different, you don't have to come out of your process now. You can stay there for as long as you need and let the process do its work. We will not let time be a barrier. And if you want to share your experiences in the process here, you can. We welcome that. All right. Thank you, Jen. It's great to see you again, by the way. Oh, fantastic, Nathan. You're welcome, Marie. You're welcome. Hey, Marie. So you did get the email of lesson 12? Just checking on you because I know you asked for it and I sent it out. But just checking with you. So this guided contemplation is, because many of us talk, and I know I do, about the mind and the power of the mind and use your mind and all this stuff. And I've even gone into details of aspects of the mind and all of that. All of that is good and dandy, but until you put it to use in practice, and so we do this exercise to put it to use and to practice, to work with the divine. We talk about working with our higher selves. Everything I tell you all is wrapped into one. You are working with your higher self when you're doing this contemplation, with the universe, with the divine, with your ancestors, with your inner child. There's healing. There's transformational energy being sent across the planet. We're working in the true nature of our power, which is found in benevolence and the power of love as opposed to the love of power. We are working on an energetic level where everything starts and everything is ended. There is nothing physical that is not first spiritual. So we go to the root of it all. All of us. So every time, every live we do this, we add more and more energy. And you can do this on your own. You don't have to have the fancy words that I use and all of that. I developed this clearing over much time with much experience and things that I had to do. But you don't have to do that. That energy is yours. It's not based on the words that you use. It's based mainly on your intention and your benevolence and the fact that you want things to be for the highest good of yourself and all others and all life. Everything comes to your aid and assistance when you do it that way. Everything. The entire universe, the entire divine, and it doesn't matter if it's just you. Just in this benevolence, just in this way, where you come from the purest part of your being, everything. You might not see it. That's okay. Everything. Everything comes to work with you then. And this is indeed how change is made on the planet. Then later on, you might see things that you can physically do. And the way this kind of work operates, it operates beyond the level of the logical mind. It works in mysterious ways. Mysterious to us because we're in the finite existence within a body. But once you start to expand, see, you expand past that finite and into your infinite, you will start to see some things. We can't see everything because we cannot be incentivized to do good. We must choose it just for the sake and just because of what's here in our hearts. We must choose that. But every once in a while, the divine goes, hey, look what your work is doing. Keep it up. Every once in a while, you'll get that. And you keep it up because you're the difference maker. You're the one bringing justice to planet Earth. You're the one bringing a new Earth here. Nobody's bringing it. You are. Thank you all for sharing the live. Thank you all for being here and participating in this because it's tremendous work. And just know, just like in life, this is not just in work like this. The good you do, most of the time, you don't see the effect of it. Every once in a while, you do. But we don't do it to get accolades. We do it because it's who we are. And we don't have to see. The alchemist, the creator, doesn't have to always see. Doesn't need to see. The creator just knows. And that is what is within you. And you want to get to the point where you just know. You just know. You know why? Because it's here. And as you work on the self, you work on everything. As you begin to know more of yourself, ironically, you begin to know about everything. And the only thing that matters is right here. Oh, somebody's doing something over there. The government has made a decision. CERN is doing something ridiculous over there in Switzerland. President such and such has just done this. Oh, they're going to ban us from growing our own food. That is operating in your weakness because you can't control any of that. And indeed, the purpose of all of that is to pull you out of yourself because the true power is here. And even though we had intentions for the world, where are we working from? Just here. Just here. Shifting our minds. We're just working from here. Where are we clearing? Where are we working with? The divine. Where is it? In here, inside of us. We're working with our mental capacity and power. Where is it? Within us. We're working with Divine Mother, Source. Divine Mother and the Source. Where are they? They are us and within us at the same time. We're working with our ancestors. Where are they? They're in us and within us and are us at the same time. You see? We are doing it from within here. Do not allow your attention to be pulled out into places where you have no control. That is the trick to get you into your weakness. That's the trick. But as long as you're working about it, and no matter where it's at, you coming from here. You're in the sphere of your power. Never leave it. Ironically, when you're here, you affect everything. When you pull yourself out to places that have to do with what other people telling you, you've left your powerhouse. Always remember, it's always here. Thank you, Clara. All right, so we're going to end it. Let me see if there's a couple of questions, and then I'm gonna go. We've been here a while. Okay. Okay. Thank you all for being here and for participating. You're doing much good, not only for yourself, but for the planet, just with your mind. What's that? Oh, okay. Oh, that Clara, you have a question? Yeah, shoot away. All right, post your question, Clara. No worries. Oh, wait for Clara. Just let you guys know that spiritual coaching sessions are available. Thank you, Nathan. Thank you for the comment. Clara, are you still here? We'll give her a few more seconds. Yes, I'll be putting them. Because I'm so behind. I'm downloading one a day. But I'm doing it before TikTok gets rid of them because they hold them for a little bit, then they get rid of them. So I will eventually be loading all of them up. Oh, you sent the question? Oh, we didn't see it.
Yeah, sometimes I filter it if you have to say it in a different way.
Yeah. Clara, I think they filtered your question. I don't know why this app is doing it. So ask it in a different way. Yeah. They're acting pretty weird. They even flagged me for a hate speech earlier, and nothing of the sort was said. uh, okay, thank you. I miss a lot because of work. Okay, you know what? I'll upload this one next because it really doesn't matter the sequence. I'll upload this one tomorrow. Okay. Yeah. All right. So yeah. So I think they probably filtered hers out. My chakras has been opened a long time. So this is a chakra question. Okay. Um so maybe you have to piece it together that way because it just came up really quickly. All right. So what do you want to know? Maybe a short little thing. And so with your yeah, I'll wait. I'll wait to hear another short little brief thing. I can go any direction with that. Certainly. But let's try to see if we can squeeze just a little more detail out of it. So happy to have caught this live from beginning to end. For the first time, I set an alarm. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, by the way, JC does the same. JC is in Holland, and I want you guys to know he gets up at 4 a.m. every morning. Do I speak out my mouth and mindset? Manifest? Okay, I see what you mean. Um, Manifestation is, yes, that is, by the way, Clara and everyone here, you are a natural manifester. Everything is around you, you manifested it. Oh, if there are things you don't like, we're not talking about, oh, you're to blame and all that. We get rid of that. Everything you speak, you manifest. So when you speak it out, take that back. Not everything you speak, you manifest. This is a tiny bit more to it than that. You speak it out, and you have some emotion and feeling behind it. Just like when you were a little child and it was birthday time. I often use that because that is when we have no filters on our emotions. And we use our emotions. We know how to use our emotions much more better when we're children. It's got no filters. And so you go back to those times, whatever it is, birthday or Christmas or any time when you really wanted something. And remember how you felt when you really wanted that thing. And by speaking it out and with the emotion behind it, very strong, you'll bring it into existence. That's all you need. I'm going to give you 2 more little steps here. Now, number 2, you want to manifest. When you say it and you have those emotions, you kind of want to give some direction. It's real simple. You say, I want to manifest it from the heart. I know I want it from the mind. I know I want it emotionally. I really do. But please, I would like to have this. Give the heart priority in how this comes in. When you manifest from the heart, there's duality does not exist there. So you don't get the so-called, I don't even like using these 2 terms. You don't get the good with the bad. You just get it exactly when you need it, when it should come, and how it should come. When you shift it down to the heart. So yes, emotion, breath in the form of words, great. But let the heart bring it in. And number 3, if you are not ready for those emotions, give permission to your subconscious mind to bring the things that you need to do so that you can be at the level of that manifestation. Like if you're holding a belief system, you don't even know you're holding it. And that belief system and what you want can't exist in the same place at the same time. Give permission for that to come forward. This is one of the greatest ways to do shadow work. You ask and you bring something, and you don't ask, you invoke, you declare. And then it doesn't come. And people say, I've been wanting this, but it doesn't come. What's actually happening is the subconscious mind is giving them the reasons why it's not. But because they're not aware that they should be looking for that, they're just looking for the manifestation. Right? So you always automatically bake it into the manifestation. Please, if there's something that is within me that I need to be up to scratch about, bring that to me, please. And do not have any rules as to how it comes. I'm talking about the reason, or even the manifestation. You let it out, you declare it, and then you have the emotion, and then you let it go. You don't keep dwelling on it. And then just say, hey, if there's something that's in the way within me, please let me know. And you'll be told through someone else, like me, through the radio, through a song, through an emotion, through the way you feel about something when you looked at it. All kinds of ways. Okay? That's all you need. Yes. Yes, energy flow. Exactly. Because it's your imagination that's creating it. But it can serve so many things. Your manifestations, you want to always manifest big because of what it will create of you. Manifest big. Manifest all you want because of what it will create of you. So when it's something that you're not up to scratch with, and those things are brought, you're creating a vaster self, a bigger self, a more evolved self, Because basically what I'm saying is if you're not at the level of your manifestation, you need to evolve to it. So your manifestation is going to evolve you. Yeah. And so just bring it through and don't make it difficult. Keep working on the heart, but say, hey, I want the heart to bring it in. I want it to be created, do everything. Everybody works as a team, all of me. But the heart is in charge as to how it's brought in. And will always be brought in the way it's supposed to be. Because it is your spirit, your higher self that communicates through the heart. So when you say the heart, you're yielding to your higher aspects. Your higher aspects. Not something outside of you, not something different. You. But at the level of the higher aspects of who you are. Yes, Aisha, yes, as a child, we had more of a chance in our imaginations. Yeah, because school just stuffed it right out. School and family stuffed it right out of us. But you can get it back. I gave a couple of exercises to work on the creative mind, the divergent mind, the right side mind, which is brainstorming and sit down, pick a subject, and start writing about it without any kind of thinking about and bringing stuff up. And the way you do that is when you're writing, you cannot stop for more than 2 seconds. You cannot hesitate for more than 2 seconds. That forces you to stay in your creative mind. Because the other mind doesn't have enough time to come in. 2 seconds. And you'll start developing your creative mind. Okay, I'm going to call it quits for tonight. And see you guys next week. Thursday, 8:30 Pacific Standard Time, and Friday, 8:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And every once in a while I'll have I'll have an extra, but that's usually impromptu, not planned. Thank you guys so much. Have a great night.